Here's a new challenge with the Gila River. When it freezes at night and your shoes are solid, you can play them like the drums. How do you put them on? Alright, I have my bag packed up, and I hate that I'm doing this, but the only logical way I can get my feet in these things is to dump them in the river. Ooh, yes, this feels great on my fucking feet. Let's see, and they float, that's great. Oh my god. This sucks. Alright, so that didn't work very well. Now my feet are freezing. Good thing I have these insulated pants, so I guess I'm just gonna sit here on the bank for a few minutes with my pants down around my feet to keep my toes from getting frostbite, and then I'm gonna retry. Alright, I've got them on, but they're supremely uncomfortable. I feel like I'm wearing Chinese foot binding shoes that are negative 20 degrees Celsius. I don't know how long this is gonna last. All right, the sun's out, which is lucky for me after the magnitude 10 fuck up that was me trying to handle frozen shoes. I'm just able to keep moving now, getting little bits of the sun, and things are getting better. I'm getting really high up in altitude in the Gila here, pretty close to the end of the canyon. And I've actually managed to not have to step in the water all morning, and I'm gonna really try to keep this trend going because I'd really like to not have to have wet shoes from now on. The canyon's also getting less drastic. A lot more meadows, it's a lot wider, shallower cliffs. Just kind of looks like it's petering out. I seem to have disturbed some turkeys on the opposite shore. They're making a lot of noise with this rock slide. This one's the only one I can get in camera, but there's a few more. I am almost out of the canyon now, and the only person I've run into all morning was a young guy about my age carrying a 12 gauge. And I asked him what he was after, and he said turkey. And I thought it was ironic. It's like two sides of one story unfolding in front of me without either party knowing about the other. Because I just passed those turkeys like a half a mile before. I wonder if he'll find them. Frankly, he probably won't, because they were kind of running up that talus slope. They'd be pretty difficult to get to. This is Snow Lake, which is dammed here. As you can see, I'm walking on top of it. And it keeps the water back from the Gila River Canyon, which I'm about to say goodbye to. This is the last glimpse of it for the trip. I can tell this is one of those days, and probably going to roll into one of those few days or week that's going to be really lonely. There's not really many people around now. I think I've got ahead of the bubble a little bit. And yeah, I got like 80 miles to go before Pie Town, so that'll be a few days. Mostly walking dirt roads like this. Maybe a little bit of trail too here and there. I've been walking through this bushy canyon for a while, and there's an app we use called Far Out that has comments on it. It's a GPS app that you can use to find water and things like that, and it's not working right now, so I don't know when the next time I have water is, but I found some pools a little further back in this creek bed, and I just filled up my dirty water bottles because, you know, you should just be safe in that scenario. The water's really shitty though, so I'm probably not going to use it if I can find something better. But I don't know when that will be. A human. first one I've seen in a long time. This is one of my favorite things about through hiking. Is the game of wondering, who is that? Is this going to be weird? Am I going to weird them out? I have to demand answers about water from them now, so there will be a conversation. Well, Hip was nice enough to show me his comments, and there's a pond here. It's full of sludge and shit, but this broken water main from a solar well is going to do the trick. I don't know if we had put this in another video, but at one point Clover and I were talking about having heard someone call the CDT the through hiker's through hike. And we both wondered, well, what the fuck does that mean? But I think after about 300 miles here, I'm starting to get it. This oscillations between bushwhacking in the Gila, wishing you could find a trail, to whipping right out of the canyon and walking down a dirt road like this for 5 straight hours. This experience kind of tests you mentally more than anything. It's not finished, and we went into it knowing that, but you really have to like this kind of thing to do this, and I do. But it really is something different. Trying to identify what kind of creature this husk is from, but I do not know. It's almost like it's been tanned, but it makes no sense for it to be here. Just in the middle of the woods. Update. I sat down on a stump and cooked myself some dinner before I walked to find camp. Talked to these two guys named Darren and Taylor. Might camp with them. I'm trying to look for something that's not so rocky. Here sitting and eating dinner at sundown with two gentlemen named Darren and Taylor, who are from Arizona. Nice guys. We just had a truck drive up and they gave us some water. We didn't need it, but I wasn't going to say no because you never know. Water's pretty scarce out here, but we just basically walked way further than I thought I was going to, from way out in those mountains over there across a long open stretch. Ended up doing about 27 miles, which was longer than I anticipated today, but that'll set me up good for tomorrow. A newcomer has arrived at camp. Old Hip from earlier today. A welcome sight. If that last video looked like it was from a weird angle, it's because it was, because I was laying inside my quilt, laying on top of a pile of ashes, which is where I am right now, and where I'll be till tomorrow morning. Good morning. We'll be walking another 20-something miles down roads today. I'm definitely running out of food too, so I'm trying to get to the Davila Ranch and eat about a dozen eggs, and then push to Pytown. I haven't had power or access to power in like a week, so I'm gonna run out of phone battery, so I'm gonna be cutting videos short too. But if anything interesting happens, I'll save it for that, because I know there's been a lot of filler with nobody else around. This area has been crazy steep and full of deadfalls. It's another version of the pain of hiking the CDT, I guess. There are some nice views though, which makes up for it a little bit. All right, well, bad intelligence. This is supposed to be good water. It's definitely the best water I've seen on the whole CDT. But I don't really have a choice, so bon appetit! So what I've done in this situation is I filtered all the rest of the water I already had in this into other bottles. And now I just filled this one and I'm gonna keep it as a reserve. I'm not gonna drink it unless I have to. And I have some chemical treatment I can put in it as well, but supposedly there's more water in like 6 miles. It's also supposed to be shitty, but I don't really envision it's gonna be worse than having an actual dead calf in the mud right next to the pond itself. There were literally little pieces of deer shit in the water too. Overall, really great water source here. And this alternate now has just petered out into nothing, no trail. I'm not sure how often anybody goes down here, but I'm here. There's not really any water here either, which is the entire reason I came down here. This whole day has been like a fugue state of stumbling around in a forest that seems like it should be wet, and it's not. In the midst of all this, I finally see a horned lizard. Pretty cool. So I recently got phone service and was able to re-download Far Out, and I learned that there was a piped spring in a little shed right over the top of the hill from that water source with a dead cow. And it's really great, I guess, for anybody who got to enjoy that. I'm not in any danger. I did collect the water, but such is life, right? Well, things are looking up. I caught the tail end of the bubble of people that was in front of me, and I was given some extra food by a guy who's going into reserve, and most importantly, his ride is coming, and they're going to bring us all cold Cokes. And I guess I should mention that I did go further today than I thought I was going to again, and I pushed past 30. I'm at 30 and a half today. It's my first 30 on the CDT, which is, again, earlier than I thought I would push that barrier on this trail, but man, that motivation of a cold Coke, it got me.